Behind every bedtime story, behind every family photo, sometimes there's a secret parents never want their kids to know. These aren't just parenting fails, they're real horror stories from people who discovered the truth too late. These are 3 disturbing true parenting horror stories, and if you think your childhood was normal, think again. Story 1. The Baby Monitor from Hell. When my wife and I had our first child, we were gifted a top-of-the-line baby monitor with a night vision camera and 2-way audio. I mounted it in the corner of the nursery, and it worked perfectly, until it didn't. One night around 2 a.m., I was up late in the living room scrolling through my phone when I got a notification, motion detected, nursery cam. My heart jumped. I checked the monitor feed. The crib was empty. That made no sense. My daughter was only 9 months old, she couldn't even climb out yet. I ran up the stairs and burst into the room. There she was. Sound asleep in the crib. I assumed it was a glitch, until the next night, when it happened again. But this time, I watched it happen live. The crib was shaking, just slightly, like something was moving around inside it. Then, for 2 terrifying seconds, a face appeared in the corner of the screen. Not my baby. Not mine. It was grayish, sunken eyes. Looking right at the camera before vanishing. I raced upstairs again. But nothing was out of place. My daughter? Still sleeping peacefully. I deleted the app, took down the monitor, and tossed it in the garage. That night, the motion alerts didn't come from the monitor. They came from my phone's camera roll. A video had somehow been recorded. It showed my daughter sleeping. And someone, tall, pale, with long black hair, standing over the crib. Watching. Then turning, and staring straight into the lens. The footage ended with the sound of her whispering. "You shouldn't have taken it down." I destroyed the monitor the next morning. But sometimes, at exactly 2 a.m., I still get that motion notification. And I don't even own the monitor anymore. Story 2. My son keeps talking to the woman in the closet. My son was 4 when he started talking to someone he called the closet lady. I thought it was just imagination. Lots of kids have imaginary friends, right? But it got weird. He'd say things like, "She says I'm her little boy now. She lives in the crawlspace behind the clothes. She watches you sleep." At first, we brushed it off, until one night, my wife and I heard him laughing from his room around 3 a.m. We went in to check, and he was sitting inside the open closet, facing the wall, giggling. His eyes were wide, unblinking. We asked what he was doing, and he said, "She told me a funny story, about when she lived here before you." We took him to a child therapist. Nothing abnormal came up. But things at home got worse. Toys would go missing, only to reappear stacked perfectly in strange patterns. Scratches appeared on the inside of the closet door, high up, where no kid could reach. The final straw was the night we heard whispering on the baby monitor we still used. It wasn't our son. It was a woman's voice. Raspy. Cold. "He's mine now. He wants to stay with me." We ran upstairs. Our son wasn't in bed. He was inside the closet again, but this time, the door had slammed shut. It took both of us to yank it open. He was crying. Clutching his blanket. He said she tried to pull him into the wall. We moved within the week. 2 months later, we drove by the house just out of curiosity. There was a little boy standing in the upstairs window. But the family who bought the house, they don't have kids. Story 3. Our daughter's real parents came back. We adopted our daughter from a private agency in 2018. She was 3 at the time, beautiful, quiet, with wide hazel eyes that seemed too serious for her age. The adoption went smoothly. No red flags. Until her 5th birthday. She woke up and asked, very calmly, "Will my other parents be coming to visit?" I assumed she was talking about her biological parents, though she'd never mentioned them before. But when I asked who they were, she said, "The ones in the woods. The ones with the long arms. They used to come in at night." Chills ran down my spine. That same week, things started happening around the house. We'd find dirt, actual muddy footprints, leading from her window to the front door, even though the alarm never went off. She'd come downstairs with twigs in her hair. We asked her about it, and she just said, "They're coming back soon." They said the deal was only until I turned 5. I started sleeping in her room out of fear. One night, I heard tapping at the window. Rhythmic. Deliberate. She sat up in bed and whispered, "They're here." I looked outside. There were 2 figures standing at the edge of the woods. I couldn't see their faces. Just tall shadows. Unmoving. The tapping got louder. I turned back, and she was gone. The window was open. I sprinted into the yard screaming her name. But there was no one. Just a trail of small footprints leading into the woods. We found her hours later, sitting calmly in the dirt, surrounded by carved wooden figures. She looked up and said, "They said I can stay with you 1 more year." We moved states after that. But every year on her birthday, she wakes up at midnight and stares out the window, waiting. If you're watching this, just pray your parents never kept secrets like these. Subscribe, before their past catches up to you too.